bang.
Assholes kidnapped us!
I can't decide.
The movie begins with two best friends known as Katie and Sloane. Sloane appears to be the more promiscuous type while Katie is the reserved type of person. Together they planned on working on a farm across the town for the weekend and raise some money they could use for shopping in New York City. The next day Katie's cop uncle Jason comes to pick them up while the mom makes them promise that when they get to the farm they should call her. He drops them off at bus stop and tells them to text him every day with a code word so he knows she's the one texting. Katie comes up with the word apple, but they have to move up the alphabet so no one knows it's a code word. As soon as he leaves, the girls goes into a coffee shop to ease themselves while waiting for the bus that will take them to the farm to arrive. At the coffee shop two young men walks up to the ladies and introduces themselves as Jed and Lucas. The ladies does the same but this time they use an alias name and shares their plan to work at the town farm to gather some money for a weekend shopping at New York City so the men offers to drop them off since they are heading to the same direction. During the ride, the men drive past the farm and the girls points it to them that they've missed their stop. Jed pretends like he didn't pay attention but instead drives the girls to their shady home, lying to the girls that the farmers come here to get their equipments and this is just their way of helping them to get to know the area. Minutes later, their mom invites the girls inside where she offers them a cup of tea with some pies, which they probably should have said no to. Katie gets a message from Jason asking how's everything and she replies that it's fine with the code word. Not long after, the girls' vision starts to get blurry as it turns out that they've been drugged. They quickly rushed outside the house to get help, but the guys runs after them and manage to knock them out. The next day, the young ladies wake up in a container inside the woods as they start to scream for help. Jed shows up screaming too just to taunt them that no one is coming to their rescue because they are in the middle of nowhere. He shows them the makeshift bed inside the container and a place they could take a dump. Minutes later, another mysterious man known as Boris appears in the woods to take a look at the girls, where he hits Jed with his gun for using his blue truck to carry the girls without his permission. He then walks up to Katie and asks about the text he saw on her phone and wants to know what the apple stands for. Sloane reluctantly tells him that it was a code word they're supposed to use to reply their uncle so he knows that they're safe. Hearing this, Boris sends a text back to Jason telling him that their girls are fine with the code word apple, not realizing that they are supposed to move up in alphabets. Later the girls are shown how they're supposed to bath while Jed keeps taunting them with his gun. A cop suddenly shows up and the girls scurry behind him for safety, not realizing that the cop is a dirty one who condones human trafficking and working side by side with traffickers. After the dirty cop has had his fill with Katie, Sloane goes over to Katie's container to console her. Meanwhile Jason sees the text, where he notices that the message didn't move up the alphabet just like they planned and figured that something must be wrong so he calls the farm where they confirmed that the girls never showed up to which he hurriedly goes to check out. Back in the woods, another guy shows up, seems like he already paid to sleep with one of the girls and picks Sloane. Being a psycho that he is, the guy tortures Sloane with his cigarette after which he has his way with her. Next another guy arrives in the wood wearing a pig mask, he walks up to Sloane and chooses her as his victim. After he's done, Sloane appears to be more traumatized than before and this time it's Katie's turn to console her. Meanwhile Jason has made his way to the sheriff's office where he reveals to the officer that he's an undercover FBI agent but currently off duty. He tells the sheriff that his niece are missing and for some reason he lets the sheriff know that his niece was supposed to use a different code word when she texted the last time. Back in the woods Boris speaks to Katie, threatening her that she shouldn't have lied about the text to her uncle. Boris then pulls Jed aside to tell him that they need to get rid of the ladies, not realizing that Katie was eavesdropping on their conversation. Jason then goes to the coffee shop where he saw them last. He shows the shop owner the picture of the girls and he quickly recognizes them, pointing out that they left with two guys in a blue truck. Back in the woods, the men arrives and puts the other guy from last time in charge, instructing him to look after the girls before the sheriff arrives to dispose of them. Taking advantage of the situation, Katie seduces the guy and he falls for it. As soon as she gets close enough, Katie bites his neck which causes the dude to lose lots of blood and he eventually dies so they free themselves. Minutes later, the sheriff arrives, only to find the dead body of the guy, not realizing that the girls has already sneaked up behind him and before he could react the girls leaves with his car. The girls were about to drive out of the town when they saw two girls just like them. Realizing that they could be another victim of the human traffickers, the girls decided to turn around and drive to a hardware store, where they buy lots of handy tools for their revenge on their abusers. They ask the cashier for the whereabouts of Boris and he directs them to his home. Meanwhile, Uncle Jason makes his way to the town's car insurance company where he gets the home address for the blue truck. Boris happens to just arrive home when he notices that something's off, but before he could react, Katie throws a spiked ball on his face followed by several others. Next they tie him up on his table, where Boris begs the girls to spare him, saying he has money if that's what they want. The girls however takes the cash but asks for one more thing, the whereabouts of the man with the pig mask. After he refuses to give the girls the information they asked for, using a wooden spike, they shoved it up his behind. Jason eventually gets into the building only to find Boris dead. He hears the car engines roaring outside, but before he could catch up, the girls has left with Boris' car. Jason then goes to the sheriff's office, where he tries to call the cell phone of his niece only to hear it ringing from the sheriff's pocket. Seeing that his cover is blown, the sheriff pulls out his gun on Jason. Finally, the girls makes it to the man with the pig mask, which turns out to be the town's priest. Sloane confronts the priest when the sermon was over. This distraction gives Katie the opportunity to sneak up behind the priest to knock him out. Next, the girls drive into town, but this time with a carefree attitude, only for them to reveal to us that the priest was dragged all along from the back of the truck. For the final blow, the girls pour a gallon of gas on the priest and sets him on fire before leaving. Jason is already tied to a chair by the sheriff, where it appears that he has already kidnapped the ladies who were on the road and was about to make out with them when he gets knocked out from behind by Sloane. They tie the sheriff up, and pulls out a revolver and play a Russian roulette. Somehow he manages to survive the whole shot, so he begins to beg to be spared. Irritated by his apology, Katie shoots the sheriff dead. After which the kidnapped girls are set free and they do the same to Jason. Jason asks about the girl who came to rescue them, but when they turn around to show him, the girls are already gone. Later, Lucas and Jed's mom goes to drink from her glass of wine only to fall unconscious because the girls have already drugged the wine. The old lady wakes up tied to a chair, while in front of her is his son Jed, who they've tied up and gagged already. For revenge to what she did to them, Sloane and Katie makes her watch while they bash the head of Jed repeatedly with a baseball bat until he's dead. Next, they drag her to another room where his other son Lucas is also tied up, but instead of killing him they untie him and hands him the baseball bat to beat his own mother to death. When he refuses to do as he's told, Sloane shoots him dead. To make it look like Lucas was the one that killed everyone, they shoot him in the head again and puts the gun in his hand, making sure his prints are all over the weapon. The mother then begins to beg the girls to spare and offers them some money in exchange for her life. However, instead of sparing her, Katie takes the lawn mower and brutally kills her. Few days later, Sloane and Katie are at the airport on their way to New York City just like they planned. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video and would love to see more from this channel, please like and subscribe.